In the face of challenges facing thorny issues of funding and capacity building, as well as outright neglect of media practitioners who often struggle to survive in a country such as this, these media owners have gathered, saying there must be mutual balance, having had so much expectation from society on them. Organizers PERL, in partnership with UKAID, are of the opinion that involvement of the media in evolving best practices and governance is critical.
Having worked in 6 different African countries, it's been brilliant to be in Nigeria because Nigeria's media is so strong and dynamic and independent. I think we should be really proud of Nigeria's media, and you have an absolutely key role to play then in promoting public discussion around ways to drive good governance.
The keynote speaker, a veteran broadcaster, sets the record straight on perceived negatives as he did on needed corrections for collective and effective media operations to record best results.
Even though the local government is democratically elected, they don't really have the freedom to express that, function very well. Because at least half of the number of states in Nigeria are already, not helping to make sure that that is achieved. We cannot realize the full benefits of democracy unless we begin by admitting that all problems are not central problems.
Many listened with keen interest as speaker after speaker of distinguished members here, representing policymakers, the academia, media executives, and their representatives, dissected what the media must begin to look towards for the amendment of the 1999 Constitution's relevant sections that must be addressed as another round of elections draws closer.
We are able to amend the Constitution. 2/3 is required of the states 24. It's not going to be an easy task. Most state house of assemblies are emasculated. They are not totally independent. So these are things you have to consider from a technical perspective too.
We are focusing on what has already passed at the national level. And what has already passed, as has been stated, some of them are quite good in terms of autonomy of the local government, in terms of devolution of some powers to the state.
These vexed issues are thrown to the floor. Voicing out hits the very core of why it has been increasingly challenging to operate independently and employ relevant reporting styles on national and subnational issues like the local government autonomy, which has suffered dearly in the hands of lawmakers bent on frustrating its rebirth.
If you look back, a lot of media organizations are closing down because they can't pay their staff. The ones that can pay, they pay peanuts. And that's why a lot of our younger colleagues, you hear them talk about envelopes and what have you. They can't look somebody in the eye and ask a good question. So the media needs help.
Our constitutional amendments around the corner and all of that. I can tell you for free now that out of 100 Nigerians, less than 10 know there's a constitutional amendment going on now. It's completely silent.
Endless are the lamentations. The answers, however, will be proffered and resolutions reached in a second panel discussion, which commenced shortly after a break.
Have there been efforts in the past to address these challenges? I say yes, there have been various efforts, both at the subnational, at the national, both by development partners, civil society, media, and all stakeholders. And some of these efforts include the passage of the Freedom of Information Act to improve access to information, enthrone accountability, the Fiscal Responsibility Law.
The tempo increases now. Issues are daunting, from local government autonomy, including administrative and financial autonomy, devolution of powers, funding of struggling media, supportive legislation to back it up, and more.
The law is one, practice is another.
Thank you.
Because the constitutional provisions today
are not being adhered to.
That local governments should exist only through election. And when even elections take place, the state governors that organize the election.
Interactions here have come up with agreed hard resolutions, some of which includes taking crucial steps to encourage state houses of assemblies to be more educated on the constitution, giving them backing to make laws that will better the lot of their people.
We should anticipate and we should begin to engage now. We don't need to wait for that time. We should be, some of these bills went forward the last time and they were vetoed. We need to begin to try to embarrass anybody who argues against it now.
If we do not get the system well, this democracy, if we don't get it well from the political party system, that will continue to be problem and problem and problem.
We also need to start looking backwards at what we are doing with media research in terms of understanding how to reach some of the people that we can reach. I don't think there is so much more, as people have highlighted, that traditional media, be it broadcast, print, can do, because they've been able to mobilize people to get to the point of, like, you know, what we see with the advocacy at the National Assembly.
I still stand strongly by the point about timing of this exercise. As somebody reiterated, many of these politicians, they are worrying about how to come back to their various positions in the state houses of assembly. That will be a major, hindrance to the exercise. Thank you.
So I think that part of it is that idea of communications and society. To have people who, when we're not all under pressure, to think towards what should we be doing and how should we be talking to one another about things that matter.
No doubt, the task ahead for these media owners in Nigeria is huge, as it is multifaceted. A communique which they have produced is surely a guide towards achieving its aim.
This is the level that affects the lives of everyday people. If you need a primary health care center to function effectively, you need to get your local government. If you need the schools, you need to get your local government. Of course, we still have the federal government responsibility as part of it.
Well, what we want to achieve is the concurrence to the bill by at least 24 houses of assembly, which means that if they concur to it, they will now become an act of parliament.
Instant commitment to pursue with vigor publicity through programs on radio, television, blogs, newspapers, online, social and future media were made in a determined effort to not lament and leave issues as status quo, but instead drive a purposeful agenda. Gimba Umar, Control TV News.